Hey guys, Chart Stoppers back with another video. In this channel we take a look at different stocks and map out their key support and resistance areas on their chart. It's important to know these areas before you buy any stock, and it's also important to know what kind of a trend a stock is in before you buy into it. Support and resistance is one of the most important things you should know about a stock before you either buy or sell. And also, if you're doing any day trading, swing trading, or options trading, you're definitely going to want to get familiar with support and resistance and this channel. Now, just to let you know, I'm not a financial expert. These videos are for educational purposes only, but I am here to point out key factors on the charts which do impact the price action of a stock. I also provided a link for Webull. You could use that to start an account. You'll get 2 free stocks. And I also provided a link for Robinhood. You could use that to start an account and you'll get 1 free stock. And just to let you guys know, I will be doing 3 videos per week on 3 different stocks. So if you have a recommendation for a video, leave a comment below and I will try to get to it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and have your notifications on so you don't miss out on any new content here. Alright, so let's get into the market today. Today is August 18th, 2021. It is Wednesday, and we had a pretty bloody day in the market. You could see here the S&P 500 finished the day down 1.09%. The Dow finished down 1.05%. And the NASDAQ was flat on the day, finishing at 0%. So not really anything good happening in the market today. Pretty much near the end of the day is when everything started picking up and the sell-off started here. You could see from this chart here, right around 3:30 or 3 o'clock, a lot of things started selling off right after the Fed came out with some information. So hopefully the rest of the week will turn around and everyone has a good week of trading. Let's get into the stock I want to take a look at here. Today I wanted to go over Gevo. I've never covered this chart before, so this will be the first time I'm covering their chart. Gevo today finished the day at $5.20. It was down 5 cents today, which is the equivalent of about 0.95%. In the after hours, it is up 1 cent, which is the equivalent of about 0.19%. And in the past week here, this stock is down over 10%. In the past month, it is down a little under 5% at about 4.75%. And in the past 3 months, the stock is down almost 27%. So not doing good in the past 3 months here. In the past year, however, it is up over 781%. So in the past year, we've seen this stock go from a penny stock all the way up to 15.50 up here. You could see it hit that 52-week high of 15.57, and that was on February 12th of earlier this year. That was right around the time that the correction in the NASDAQ started. And, you know, it hit that 52-week high. The next day it sold off, and it just continued selling off here until we got to around $4 and let's call it around 70 cents here. That's where it bottomed out. You could see the low on this day was $4.58, and that was on May 13th. So that was like the worst of the correction. You see a nice bounce off of that 200-day moving average right here in the yellow on May 13th. And you had a nice little recovery, a nice run after bouncing off that 200-day moving average. Traded all the way back up to around $9.75 here. This was on June 9th, okay? And then after hitting that, it sold off again. And now we're in the midst of another sell-off with this stock. And we're going to be looking for another bounce and a nice recovery. So let's go over the chart here. You could see right here I have my top resistance point. This white line is going to be around $14.60. We were never able to close the day above there, or above $14.60. So that's where I'm going to want to see this thing get back up to, close above and hold, and to eventually move on to a new high, okay? And moving down here, I have my first support line that, you know, there was a little bit of consolidation on the way up, not much though, around $10.40. You could see after it dropped below here, we traded back up to that point and could not break through that level right there. So that's going to be a key resistance point moving forward. We'll be watching that if we do get back up to this point. And you could see my next support level is around $5.50 to 60 cents here. You could see that's where it bottomed out during this correction. We had a nice touch off here, and it rose back up to that resistance line, like I said, and then we sold off again, had another bounce off of this support before, trading up to that 21-day moving average here in the light blue, and then that was acting as resistance. We ended up selling off under our support here for a couple days. We held under there, and then we regained that support and traded all the way up here, like I said before, to around $9.75 before coming down again to this support. We had a little bit under there. Didn't finish the day though. We opened underneath the support, but we did not close below there. We closed right at that support, and we were able to hold that support for a while here. It looks like about a month here, consolidating along the support line until just recently, as you could see 3 days ago or 4 days ago right here, we finally lost this support. So it looks like we're trading right below this support right now, and we're hoping to regain that. But as you can see, I have this green trend line here, and that's the trend that it's been trading in since around November of last year, when we saw this thing pretty much just explode. As if you look at the chart here, you could see that we had a low of 46 cents, and that was last July. All right, so 46 cents this thing was trading around. So around 50 cents here just about a year ago, a little over a year ago. And like I said, it traded all the way up to $15.60 almost. So if you bought in back here just about a year ago, little over that, you made a nice return on your money. But as I always say, if you look at a chart and it goes straight up like this with a lot of gaps, as you can see, a huge gap right here, and no consolidation on the way up, you're eventually going to see this stock come back down and consolidate back in those areas. And that's exactly what happened here. Just like all the other ones that I go over where there's no consolidation here, you're going to see it come back down and consolidate. So hopefully if you guys see this again, if you're in another stock like this and there's no consolidation while you're riding it up, make sure you take profits. You're going to want to take profits somewhere near the top. It doesn't have to exactly be at the top, but once you get a certain percentage of return on your money, that's when you're going to want to get out and take profits before you get caught on the other side of this and riding it back down. So just keep that in mind moving forward. But let's look at our trends here. You can see my green trend line. We just broke that green trend line just a couple days ago when we broke our support here. It was holding up for a while. I had to move it a couple times. It was following this 200-day moving average. We already broke that, and I moved it down here to track this consolidation, and hopefully we were going to see a nice bounce coming off of the support and keep following our green trend line. But what ended up happening here is this downtrend line where we've been hitting lower highs and lower lows, it decided to keep following that. So that just shows that there's not a lot of buyers left at these prices, and there's more sellers than buyers that are driving this stock down and under our support here, this key level. So it looks like we might have some more downside to come. If we do have more downside, let me just show you where our next consolidation area was and our next support should be, and that's going to be around $4 here. Right around this area when it was on the way up at $4, we broke through that resistance, and then we consolidated a little bit and were able to hold this area when it was making its way upward. So that will be the area I'll be looking at now that we have broken this support here, and it looks like the sellers are going to continue to drive this price down and follow this trend line here of lower highs and lower lows. So that'll be what I'm looking at. And if we are to continue downside after that, this will be the area I'm looking at here, the former resistance around $2 and around 60 cents here. So keep an eye on that. And like I said, we are under our 200-day moving average here. We are also under our 50-day moving average here in the blue. We are under our 21-day moving average here in the light blue, and our 8-day moving average is in the white. So we are below all moving averages. It's not looking very bullish for this one, but I'm going to check out the weekly chart here and, ooh, let me zoom in here for you guys. Looks like it was zoomed all the way out. And on our weekly chart, you could see my trend line here, this green trend line, follows the 50-day moving average on our weekly chart here in the dark blue. It follows it very closely, almost identical. So that's what's been acting as support since it started this trend upwards. As you can see, coming back to this area around the beginning of December of last year. And that has been acting as support here. We have never really got close to this area, even during that correction that we just had. During the worst of it, we really didn't even bounce off of this support here, this 50-day moving average. But as you can see, these last 4 or 5 weeks here, we've been, trading right at that 50-day moving average. It's been supporting us. It's been holding up until recently last week. We finally dipped below there and we closed the week out below there. So that's what tells me that there's going to be more downside to come, in my opinion, that we closed below there, and now, that's going to be acting as resistance moving forward. So keep an eye on that. We also have our 200-day moving average here in the yellow, which might act as support also. And that's sitting at $4.45. So keep that in mind right there. But it looks like by the time we get to that, it might be around our support at $4. So just keep that in mind for the weeks coming, that, this 200-day moving average on the weekly chart could act as support to, maybe bounce off there. As you could see during the correction, the worst of that correction, the lows, we did hit that 200-day moving average here in the yellow, and we had a nice bounce off of there. So that's where I would be waiting to enter if you are looking to buy into this stock. I'd be waiting for a, test of this 200-day moving average on the weekly chart like we saw back here in May, and maybe buy in around there for a nice bounce off of there like we had back in May. All right, so, but I'm thinking by the time it does get to that 200-day moving average, because it is bleeding out very slowly, that we are going to be around that $4 range. So, keep an eye on it, and keep an eye on where that 200-day moving average is if you are looking to buy in. All right, or if you want to, do a swing trade on this, maybe for the bounce off the 200-day moving average on the weekly chart. All right. So I'm just going to switch over to our 4-hour chart, see what's happening here. And, looks like we're below all moving averages there. That 50-day moving average on our 4-hour chart is acting as resistance. As you can see, it follows my trend line pretty closely there. So that will be resistance moving forward. Keep an eye on that one. And, if we do break above that, that could be a very bullish sign moving forward. So we'll watch that also. All right, so switching back to the daily chart for one last look at our chart, and that's about all for this one. If you guys liked the video, make sure you hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel also so you don't miss out on any new content here. I want to thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time on Chart Stoppers.